Hello guys, welcome back to our podcast, Lumos Sharing the Love with Lindsay and Lillian. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Lillian. And today we're going to be doing what we decided to call an unscripted coffee talk. So we have our coffee with us. And some snacks. Our pretzels, cashews, and apples because we just did like a short little bike ride. But anyway. And we're just going to chill, talk about life today. Quick disclaimer. There will be some spoilers. I saw that. There will be some spoilers to the Red Queen book series and the Harry Potter series, so if you haven't read those books or you plan on it, I would recommend not watching the videos because we're going to be giving away the major plots. So we call it Unscripted because we don't have anything except the intro and the outro scripted. We have a little bit of like subtopics that we're going to try to discuss, but otherwise we're just going to go straight into it, and we're going to go on as many rabbit trails as we consider as we need, so...
Very much. Okay.
You wanted to go on a rant about coffee.
Yes, I did. Okay, so this coffee that we have here, this is a French press.
Yep.
It's really good. And
it tastes good.
It's wonderful.
And it's black.
I love black coffee. Is the best.
It's dark and bitter like Maven's soul.
It is. Yeah, and also I'm going to talk about my coffee journey because that's really important.
Go on.
Okay, so when I was younger, my mom would give me like a little coffee and I loved it. And then when I got a little older, I hated it. I'm like, this tastes so gross. And then maybe in like 6th or 7th grade, my mom started getting me like coffee frappuccinos sometimes. And I would like have a sip of her coffee, and then I started like drinking a lot more coffee. And then I don't know. I just started drinking like black coffee, and I've never turned back since. I'm a hardcore coffee lover, and
it sound like a religion.
It's a religion. It really is. It's really funny because when I order coffee, they'll be like milk, sugar. I'm like, no, just no black liquid.
My coffee journey. My dad would always give me or let me have like coffee beans, so I just have straight coffee beans. Are so good. And occasionally I'd have coffee with usually cream in it. Mm-hmm. And I was doing cream up until we didn't have cream in our house, which is actually quite recently. So now I'm like okay with it, black.
Yeah,
I do love really coffee frappuccinos. They're so good.
Yes, I got her onto those too. Like, okay, should we go over our coffee orders?
Let's go over our coffee orders.
Yes. So the coffee shop that we both normally go to is Caribou Coffee, which is actually a Minnesotan company. So if you're from Minnesota, you of course know Caribou. I think it's just a Midwestern thing, maybe.
No, I don't know.
Yeah. And so my order normally is a medium cold brew black or a medium like coffee frappuccino. And it's just coffee and made in frappuccino, no flavors.
Mine is usually just a coffee frappuccino.
Yes.
Or just like a black coffee. I got that at Dunn Brothers the other day.
Yes, Dunn Brothers is also one of the best chain coffee shops.
They have like the best coffee frappuccinos.
Yes. Just coffee is life, and I sometimes drink too much of it. So, a warning for coffee. Make sure you have water along with your coffee, or you're going to be, like, dehydrated. Water. Okay. I could need some right now.
Why did I put it right there? Oh, my goodness.
And then also, you should not have coffee on an empty stomach, or you're going to feel nauseous.
Which is why we're eating a snack, guys.
Yes, very much so. What else? Anything else about coffee?
It's good.
It's good.
You've got a hair in your...
I know.
Coffee is just...
Yes.
Yep.
And also, when I went to Cuba, I had coffee there, and it was really good. But, I had food in my mouth.
Fine.
I was going to buy coffee beans, because I planned to buy coffee beans and bring them home, and I couldn't find any to buy. I was really sad.
That's annoying.
Yeah, and then I could have had, like, Cuban coffee. I didn't have time. There was, like, a place at the airport, but I didn't have time to stop and get stuff. So, sad. Anything else about coffee?
I don't know. It's delicious. That's all I know.
That's all we gotta say. Should we move on to books?
Should we talk about Divergent?
Yes.
We should talk about that one first.
Divergent. Lovely.
4 is cute. That's all I gotta say. Just kidding. I love the part where... I don't remember if it actually happened in the book or not.
Sometimes that happens.
I know.
Same with Harry Potter. I'm like, oh, that happened in the movie, not the book.
So where Triss jumps from the building, and then so the first thing 4 says in the movie, I don't think it's in the book. In the movie, he's like, "What'd you get pushed?" Because usually, like, stiffs don't jump first, and they don't usually transfer to Dauntless anyway. So like 4 was the last transfer from Abnegation to Dauntless until like Tris came.
Yes.
And then I liked how the part from like his perspective. I don't remember what happened, but I just know that his perspective from the
Yes.
It was just
Yeah, I bought the last book, which is 4, from his perspective, and I still have to read it. And I'm excited to. He's so good.
I love Christina's remarks, like, what, 1 through 3 were all taken? Like, he said his name was 4,
Yeah.
like...
It is pretty funny. And if you guys have read Divergent, what 4 means is because he has 4 fears, right?
Yep.
I haven't read or watched
Fear of
Divergent in a
heights.
while.
Fear of small faces.
Small faces.
Small spaces. Or fear of confinement.
Mm-hmm.
And then fear of killing the innocent. And then fear of his dad. His fear of confinement is actually because his dad locked him in a closet when he was younger.
Good to know.
And I'm like,
That's nice.
okay.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, but like, okay, we need to stop.
Oh yeah, and let's talk about our not houses.
Our factions.
Our factions. I think I would be. Is it Amity?
Yeah.
I think okay, I was thinking about it. I'm all for peace and all of that, but that's like so like peaceful and like la la la.
Like
la.
in the movie, they're like, go with happiness.
Yeah.
Go
Okay,
with
my thing is
happiness.
like I'm like all about peace and love and all of that stuff, but that's like maybe a little like too much.
They even have like peaceful bread that you eat, and you're just like.
Yeah, that's like. But what is it? Erudite? So we had to cut it because our storage was full.
I had
so.
a storage issue.
Yes.
It's fine. We're back
So I'll
now.
continue. So erudite. That'd probably be my second house.
Your house?
Faction, because just that stuff is like with the doctors and just like all that stuff is pretty interesting, and reading and books, and then I don't know, and
like
I'm a
you
very
do.
like honest person, so but candor, that's just like too much. There's
And
like
then they give you the truth serum too.
oh, like
and then
you have
just
to
put
tell all your
everything.
secrets to everyone. No.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I think with all the factions, there's like so many like faults in each one, and that's kind of the thing. Yeah, and I think it's really funny with the 2 houses factions I would be in kind of correlate to like my Harry Potter houses. Like Amity would probably be my first, which is like Hufflepuff. Then Erudite is like my second, Ravenclaw. I think it's funny. How about you, Lily?
Let me get my coffee here. Hang on. Okay, well, I like to think that I'd be Dauntless.
I don't think so.
I don't think I would be, though, honestly. I feel like it would be, like, a close second, because I would not be
I could
an
not do the
Amity.
jump.
I would not be an Amity.
No, you wouldn't.
Absolutely not. I would not be an Abnegation. I'm not selfless.
No.
I would probably not be in Candor, either, because...
No. That sucks.
Just no.
Erudite.
So basically, Dauntless would be my second to Erudite. I don't like that I would be in Erudite just because they're like the faction that's the most screwed up.
Yeah, but
And then they try to take over the whole faction system. But like that's where I would be.
yeah, I
And
mean,
if I wasn't in there, I would be the Dauntless because I'm not going to the
would you do the jump?
I mean, yeah, I'd have to.
I wouldn't. I'd be factionless if I got into Dauntless. Stay. Yeah, and also I just don't like the ending of the series.
I don't either.
Like kind of.
What author kills their main character? It's dumb. And then, okay, so then Will dies, which is Christina's boyfriend, and then Trish dies, which is Forrest's girlfriend, and then Christina end up together. And I'm not happy about that at all. It's not okay.
Yeah.
That's why so they were gonna make, well, they have the 3 movies, and then Allegiant is actually called Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
And when she didn't die in the movie, and I was like so happy. But then they were going to make a second one, but they didn't have enough like fundings for it.
Yeah. So that's
Which
kinda
is when
sad.
she would have died, and I'm like, I'm so glad I did not have to see her die.
The sad that it's like unfinished. It'd be
But she doesn't die. That's all I care about. She doesn't die. The ending is like her and 4 hugging, and it's super cute. And
lies.
I'm like, okay, they're together at the end of the movie, and it's just okay.
The first book is the best.
It is. It's the best movie too.
Mm-hmm. I agree. But when the thing is, it's kind of like morbid. Like there's a lot of killing and stuff. And I watched it with my parents, and they were like,
There's a lot of.
"Yeah,
There's a
there
lot
was
of
like a lot of
killing?
like and like just blood and like guns and all that."
I
Stuff. It was
love the
funny.
part when Janine in the movie was like supposed to, she tells her people to like kill Triss or whatever, and then so she's like on her knees, her gun's pointing at her head, and then her mom comes in and just like shoots the 3 guards, and I'm like, yes, Mom!
I know.
It's amazing.
That is really. What's another? Should we go on our rant about Harry Potter?
Did we get through all of our Divergent stuff? There's way too many secret stuff. 4 is Divergent too, just not as much as Triss. It's cute. 2 Divergents, 2 Dauntless, and 2 Stiffs in the same person. They're just together. It's just cute.
Very much so. Or should we hop on the Red Queen rant?
I feel like that's going to take the longest. We should probably go on a Harry Potter
Okay.
rant first.
Okay. Let's see.
I dropped my cashew.
Okay, what should... I'm trying to think. There's like so many things I
Harry
could say about
Potter.
Harry Potter.
Mrs. Weasley and
It's
Minerva
amazing.
McGonagall are the best female characters, plus Ginny Weasley.
Yes. And then we were talking about this today. If we ever live together, I really want to have like an animal. And if it's like during college, I don't have time to take care of a dog, sadly.
So we'd get a tabby cat
Yeah, and name her
it
Minerva McGonagall.
and talk to her.
That's what she does to my grandma's cat when she comes over to my house. Like you just call her
I
McGonagall.
do.
Her name's Daisy. It's so funny. And then like Daisy, she likes to stare at people. Then you like stare back at her.
I stare back and I pretend like I'm talking to Minerva McGonagall. It's just funny.
Yeah. Oh, and a very special announcement.
Oh yay!
One sec, let me finish.
Didn't we reference the special announcement in like a couple
The first or
episodes?
second. Okay.
Okay, this is the special announcement that we referenced, guys.
Let me finish eating. I hate when you need to talk but you're like chewing, so you have to be like,
Just,
one sec, I need to, just like a pencil in my mouth. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have a pretzel stuck in my braces. One sec.
Drum roll.
Oh, my phone just flipped. It was like, when I was doing that. Okay. I have a good thing of doing stupid things. Okay. So I'm getting a dog tomorrow. We're gonna be picking him up tomorrow. Okay, and his name is George Glass Monkey Weasley. Okay.
Every one of your family members had something to do
Except for
with
my
it.
mom, but my mom
Except for
likes all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna break down the names. So George, so it's from my family's 3 favorite Georges. Because my parents, they're gonna get the 4. Oh my gosh, my parents are really dog people too. And before the dog that I had, Murray, they're gonna get an old English sheepdog and name him George. And they never did that, but they've always wanted to name a dog George. And all of the dogs just weren't Georges. They didn't have like the aesthetic of like a George. You know what I mean? Like George, like with that name, I kind of like think of like an old soul, or I don't know. I just do. So the first name was George Glass. Not many people know what this is, but it's from the Brady Bunch, which is a show I think from the 50s and 60s actually, maybe, or 60s and 70s actually. And there's a joke. So one of the characters, Jan, is like faking having her boyfriend. Her parents ask for his name, and he's like George, and then her mom's like, "What's the last name?" And there's like this glass, so it like shoots to this like thing of a glass, and she looks at it, and she's like, "Oh, George Glass." And it's like a really funny joke, and my dad like loves that. So my dad came up with that, and then the second part is monkey. We were gonna do like Curious. But, you know, after Curious George, the monkey. But, like, Curious just didn't work, so we did monkey.
Yeah, that would be weird. George Glass Curious Weasley.
Yeah, so we did, what is it? So we did monkey, because my brother loves Curious George. He has, like, a big, like, monkey, like, in his room.
I got
like
creeped out by that. I walked past
It
his
is kinda
room,
creepy.
and I was like, oh my goodness,
He's just
there's
looking
a ginormous
in his corner. Yeah. So he loves Curious George. And then also, my favorite is George Weasley, because that came up as a name. I'm like, George Weasley, who is, like, one of my favorite characters in Harry Potter and, like, of all time. And I'm very proud to be calling my dog George Weasley.
And we're going to train him, because I'm going to be part of this training process. We're going to train him on 2 of the spells.
Yeah, before that, so the dog we're getting... I'm getting is a soft-coated Wheaton Terrier. So they actually originate from Ireland, actually. And the Weasleys are Irish.
That is convenient.
Yeah, but okay, the difference is we're getting American soft-coated. But they still originate from Ireland, but there's an Irish coat, which is, I think, more wiry. And yeah, so they're going to be really cute, and I think we will post some photos on Instagram along with the podcast.
We might have a whole podcast with George.
Yes, maybe on the next podcast.
What is our next podcast anyway? Oh, I know what it is.
Well, what is it? Is it on
We'll keep
Hufflepuff?
it a secret.
Oh, yes, I think I just said it, so you'll have to see it.
It's not Hufflepuff.
Okay.
We're not going to talk about Hufflepuff yet.
Not cool enough
for that.
Yes, and then so we went and bought a collar. It was kind of like black and like brown. It kind of like gave off the vibe of like the 70s, which is kind of where the Brady Bunch and George Glass is kind of from. But it also, and then we got...
Oh, and that's when the Weasleys would have been at Hogwarts, right?
Yeah, that's when...
Oh, that would have been when...
Mrs. Weasley and Arthur...
Not Mrs. Weasley, because the 90s was the Battle of Hogwarts, and 98 was the Battle of Hogwarts.
Yeah.
So then 20 years early. That would have been their birthday in the 70s. It was the Weasley's birthday in, like, the 70 area. I can't remember what year. I think it was 74.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
April 1st.
I don't know. What is even his birthday? I think his birthday... Was it April? No, it was May, like, 19th. I think it's his birthday.
May 19th. That would have been funny if it was, like, in April.
If it was April 1st, I would have been like... What the crap? That would have been so cool. Yeah, and then we got this orange, like this kind of like the burnt orange leash that reminds me of like George.
And their ginger hair.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm like super excited, and we're gonna train it on a couple Harry Potter's spells.
Okay,
Killing Curse.
So Killing Curse, Avada Kedavra, because and then you want to.
It's like the roll over dead, like
dead.
You know that trick. I don't know how I'm gonna teach it, but.
And then Silencio, which would just be
shut up,
be
basically.
Quiet, basically. Yeah, I'm not a dog person. I'm just excited because the dog is named George Weasley, so...
The only reason you like it.
It's the only reason.
Oh, it's just really funny. This is very unintentional. My other dog is named Charlie. So after, like... Not after Charlie Weasley. No. That's the name. So that's kind of funny, I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's gonna be, like, his older brother.
That's funny.
Anything else about George? I don't think so.
I suggested that if they got 2 dogs, they just.
I know. I was like, can we get 2 dogs and name the other one Fred, please? But we could not do that. I think the limit of dogs you can have is 3, so that would be illegal. And I'm not gonna.
Dog limit.
The dog limit. I know this because of civics last year, freshman year.
I don't even remember that. There's a chicken limit. Remember that?
There's a chicken limit of how many? Yeah, there's like these stupid like little limits. I think you have to get like a permit, like if you want to like have more than like 3 dogs. I think.
Oh my goodness.
Which is kind of sad. Like, what if I want to have like 1,000 dogs? Like.
Right.
Yes. So that's all for George, and I'm super excited.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have some coffee now.
So. Yep. All right, what else? That was like a tangent off of Harry Potter, so.
I know, I'm just
back to Harry Potter.
Yeah, okay.
The best.
Oh, actually, something we were thinking of naming. So there's a list, and my mom kind of like not Harry, but Harold. Yeah. Okay, and I have this list of like dog names. George is at the top, and then we were thinking Winston, Tucker, Edward, and his Winston. That's kind of
a Maze Runner name.
Edward, and then his nickname would be Eddie, and then Harold, Harvey, Norman, and Stanley. But his name would be Stan, and then we'd call him Stan the Man.
But he's a dog.
What?
But he's a dog, not a man.
Stan. No, but it's I don't know where it's from, but it's like Stan the Man. I don't know where that's from, but it's a thing. And then could we kind of think of like more like the old names? But if we were thinking of getting a girl, actually, I just like names, and I'm just gonna say some of them. So Eleanor, Adeline, so we call her Addie.
You're weird.
Delilah, Cecilia, her name would be Cece. Oh, this is really funny. My dad, like, he loves, like, these old, like, names for girls because it's really funny. Eunice. Florence. Flora. Lorraine. Norma. Velma. Oh, and you're also thinking of Velma. So my cousins, they got a dog. It's a, what is it called?
Oh! That would have been so funny. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so her name is Daphne, and she is, what type of dog is she? She's a Bernedoodle. So it's a Bernese mountain dog mixed with a poodle. And her name is Daphne. But they named it after Daphne Duck. But I was thinking, I know, which is kind of sad. And I told her about this. She's like, no. And I'm like, okay. But we could go on like Scooby-Doo, and then her name would be Daphne, and then her sister would be like Velma.
That would have been cool.
I know. That was kind of at the top of the list, and then there's Louise and Dolores. So
Dolores Umbridge.
Umbridge. I put this on the list. I don't want to do that to my dog, but I was thinking then she'd have like a pink collar.
Oh my.
And then everything just pink. Okay, that's my dog rant. I'm sorry. I love dogs. Oh yeah, and then also Wheaton Terriers. It's in the name, but they're a terrier. My family, we really like terriers because we used to have a Cairn Terrier, and then now we have a Shih Tzu Terrier. Yeah, I don't really like Shih Tzus because they kind of are kind of ugly, but like mixed with terrier, they are adorable. Okay, I think I'm done with my rant
now. Okay, great.
Yes. Okay,
let's go back to Harry Potter.
What do you want to do with Harry Potter?
I don't know. What else do we need to talk about? We need to actually go on an actual rant for Harry Potter. Why was Divergent easier to talk about? Like, I don't know.
We talked about Harry Potter a lot, and I don't want to like ruin some things for like our upcoming house podcasts.
What would we ruin?
I don't know. Should we talk? Do you know what? I'm going to talk about Willow.
Fred doesn't die. There's no way.
We're going to talk about Willow.
No, we're going to talk about Fred.
No, Willow.
What is Willow?
Tom's dog. Okay, so
Why?
Because she's adorable. Okay.
Why can't we talk about Fred?
Wait, one sec. Okay, Tom Felton. So the guy, Tom Felton, he plays Draco in the movies, you know, okay?
Draco Malfoy.
And Willow, about, what is it, like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, turned 2. She's like
cute.
the cutest little...
Can you bring him closer? Can you bring him closer?
So cute! It's really bad, but like you can see it. She is adorable, and I just gotta say, I like dogs, so like Willow the dog is... Honestly, if I want to meet Willow. Really bad.
You don't want to meet Tom. You'd rather
No, just give me Willow, honestly. I will like steal her. I want her. I'm not gonna steal her, but like I want to like pet her because I like dogs.
Okay, back to Harry Potter.
Oh no, another thing.
I need to go on a rant now.
And you guys should follow Doug the Pug on Instagram because he's a really cute pug. All I gotta say. At Doug the Pug. You're welcome. Okay, now you can go on your rant.
Okay, so if you've read the Harry Potter books, you know that Fred dies and he gets the most unceremonious death for someone as amazing as Fred, right?
All my favorite characters die like in just a bad way of dying.
I know, but like, and then I watched this video about like why Fred died the way he did, and it was like because J.K. Rowling was showing that anyone can die in any way possible. And I'm like, that is stupid. That is dumb. And then in the movie at least he was like, there was a Death Eater that was like killing him, which I'm like, okay, at least it's a little bit more glorious.
By a wall.
But then he was by a wall, and then it's like when what was the part? I don't even remember what was happening. But basically, there's this quick little like scene where it's like this person who is like does the spell at Fred. Fred's wand goes out of his hand, and he kind of leans back. The person turns, but then Fred, you can see him in the background leaning forward and trying to figure out where his wand is, and I'm like, he doesn't die. And then the next scene is like him dead in the Great Hall, which is really just James sleeping. So like I just convinced myself that Fred is just sleeping, you know. But like he doesn't die. You can still see him moving around and like clearly breathing and clearly. She's
ranted about this to me like more than like 5 times. I swear.
It's so annoying.
I know.
Yeah, give him a proper death if you're gonna kill him.
Yeah, and also the thing is, I'm like so mad that she decided to kill him because. It's the twin thing. Like, and then George is... I feel like it's worse for George's end, because then he has to live his whole life without his twin. And that's, like, so sad.
And then even though they have the option of being a ghost, Fred would never be a ghost anyway.
Because you can't go back. I feel like he did, then George would become a ghost.
Yeah, but if Fred was a ghost, he'd be able to see all his, like, nieces and nephews and stuff, you know?
Oh, there's like these cute things on Pinterest about that, and it's like he becomes a ghost, and then but he becomes like the Gryffindor head for that, and then he gets to see all his like family go to Hogwarts and that stuff, and then
he would terrorize the teachers still.
Oh my gosh,
yeah, it would
he would be an awesome
amazing.
ghost. I would love that. He would like be worse than like I think Peeves. He'd be worse than Peeves.
Oh yeah, he would be worse too.
And then
he just can't do anything because I don't think ghosts like he just creep up on people and just like
and be like, you know, in George's voice, Morny.
Yeah.
I know, it's like that sad stuff, and it's like, and then like once George died, they never saw the redheaded ghost ever again.
Yeah.
And there's like, if you want to be sad, just go to Pinterest and search up Fred death, or like Fred Weasley death, and you will cry.
He still doesn't get a proper death. I'm so mad about it.
It's really sad. Okay. Also, going off with on just deaths, let's go to another series. So, there's gonna be more spoilers.
What? Shade? Are you gonna talk about Shade?
Yes, I am talking about Shade. Okay.
Okay.
This is painful.
I'm fine.
Okay, so the Red Queen series. Okay, let's talk about Red Queen for just a sec, like overall. So I went to Barnes & Noble.
It's amazing.
Lovely. And I was looking to buy a book series. I think it was between
Hunger Games and Red
No,
Queen,
it wasn't
right?
between Hunger
You said
Games.
it was Hunger Games. You told me it was
Was I
Hunger
looking at
Games.
Hunger Games too?
Yeah, you said.
Oh, no, yeah.
You said you were looking between Red Queen and Hunger Games.
Okay. Yeah, well, I ended up buying Hunger Games later. And I was like, I've like heard of it, and I hadn't really no idea what it was about. So I just kind of grabbed like a little, what is it, a thing that comes with like the first book and the second book, like not even knowing what it was about, and I bought it because of the cover.
The covers
are really cool. Yes, and then I started
amazing.
reading it, the first book, I'm like, Lily, you need to read this, you need to read about, there's like this big twist at the end and stuff. She's like, okay, I'm reading this, I'll have it on my list. And I'm like, you need to read it. And then she
And then I wasn't into the book I was reading anyway, so I'm like,
sure.
Get
And
me
then she
read
got
away.
obsessed. And it's really funny. But what happens is in the second book or third? No, it's in the third.
What?
Shade's death.
In the second book.
Oh,
At the
okay.
end.
So, one of our favorite characters, Shade, who is the main character's brother. So at first you thought he already died, but then he kind of came back and like, no, I
would have
die.
rather he just had died at the beginning because then you don't meet him and you don't get attached to him, and then he comes back.
And then he gets killed by Ptolemus. And do not even, because we've read the first 4 books. Now we're on Broken Throne, which is kind of like short stories and that stuff.
And history. It's very interesting.
Yeah, fake history is really, really good. It really is, though. It's better than history class. And he gets killed by Ptolemus, and it basically like just ruins all of this.
Magnetron, who basically.
And he doesn't
not
die
even
in the series.
Ptolemus needs to die. He just needs
I
to
don't
die.
like him.
He needs
I
to
don't care how much like they try
Okay,
to.
do you know how
make
much
me
foreshadowing was in the book? Okay,
I didn't get it.
You missed half of it. So basically, in the first book, there's this one character. His name's Maven, who turns
He's like
at
the
the
best
end.
villain.
Who turns at the end and becomes the villain. See, I think you told me that.
I read it for myself because I already knew this.
I've kind of forgotten. I'm like, is Maven the bad guy? He might be the bad guy. And I'm like, if he wasn't the bad guy, do I think he's going to be the bad guy? And then I could see, like, hints.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I was like, oh, yeah, he's the bad guy. So then when he turned, I was still kind of, like, surprised. But I'm like, I knew that was coming. And then
I told myself not to get attached to Maven, even though I know he was bad. But I'm still attached to him, and I cried a lot over him.
Oh, and then there's another one. Oh, Farley, when she was like, at the end of the second book, Mare, because they met some like seer and the future dude.
Oh, John.
And then John said to Mare, tell Farley the answer to her question is yes.
Mm.
And like you didn't know because at the end of the second book, Mare's like, John told me that yes was the answer to your question. And it was right after Shade died, and you didn't get it. But I got it, like, right away, and I'm like, oh, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And then like, Shade is dead already, and so, like, he doesn't get to see his daughter.
That's, like, so sad.
So, what was the other? There's another one, too, that you didn't pick up on. Was it Evangeline?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's, like, hints to, like, her love interests and, like, the...
We won't ruin that for you guys, because it was, like...
And then you didn't...
Okay, like, leading up to it, I'm like, oh... I can, like, maybe. And then I'm like, yep, there it is.
And then Maven, you didn't get that Maven's love interest either.
I didn't, well, I kind of, yeah, you'll see when you read it. So read it. It's really good. And the author.
It's funny how
amazing.
you didn't pick up on that stuff. And, like, I think because you already told me, so it was, like, in the back of my brain. But even so, I'd be reading it, and then I'd be like, okay, if Lindsay didn't tell me this, do I think that this happens?
Yes.
And then
Yes, and then going on with that, so we're a series that I'm like kind of ashamed I have not read is the Hunger Games series.
Why are we gonna go to Hunger Games now? I'm not done with Red Queen. We just need to go back to that.
So we're gonna be reading Hunger Games together, but Lily's gonna start it off before me
Yeah.
because I'm a really fast reader, and
she's-
I'm really bad at not ruining things for people if I'm like really excited.
a whole book ahead of me in Red Queen, and so she just spoiled like the whole book.
Like yeah, so Lily needs to be ahead of me.
Yep. As soon as I finished Broken Throne, I told Caleb we had this agreement that I got him to read Red Queen, and then we made the agreement that
Just like the first
if
one?
he read Red Queen, I had to read this book called Inkheart. So I'm gonna start that.
Oh, I have that one on my shelf. Inkheart?
No, you don't have Inkheart. You have Ink Death, I think.
No, I have like something from that series.
You do have
I don't even know how I have it, but I do.
So I have to read Inkheart. I might read
It's like
that
a big
at
book,
the
isn't
same
it?
time. Yeah. As Hunger Games. Hunger Games books are so tiny. They're gonna take like less than a week.
I know,
to
and then
get
like
through.
what I think is funny, like so the prequel about I think it's like the villain Snow, I think. So that just came out not that long ago actually.
No, it's very recent.
So I think I'll buy that if I really like the Hunger Games. Even if I don't like it, I'll probably still buy it to read it. That's just me.
Or just to have the whole collection of series.
Oh yeah, and it's really funny. So you know, like everyone knows like the Twilight series. So I've always had like the first book on my bookshelf, and I probably got it from like Goodwill or something for like $2. So then I went to a Salvation Army, and I went straight to the book section, and they had the rest of the Twilight series. So I got the last 3 for like $3 each, and I'm just so proud of myself.
Yeah. Okay, we should go back to Red Queen. Because there's way too much.
Okay, what do you want to say about Red Queen?
What do we need to say about? Okay, there's these people with like abilities, right? And so the king's family, they're all burners. The mom's not. But what's funny is that Maven and then his older brother Cal, or Tiberius the
What?
is he the sixth?
Seventh.
I think the 7th. So Tiberius the 7th.
His
They
nickname's
all
Cal.
have their burners, which means they have like an ability for fire and controlling fire, and they all have anger issues. And it is
I just like that. And the last name is
hilarious.
Calor, which is like he.
If you took away the E, so it's spelled Calore, so if you took away the E, Calor is like hot in Spanish. So it's like really funny. What would your ability be in Red Queen?
What did I say? Oh, I would like to believe this. I don't think I would, but was it like a gravitation? So like you're able, yeah. So you're able to manipulate gravity. That would really work in my favor.
Yeah, what would you be though?
I don't know.
feel like
That's what I
maybe
want.
you would be a viper or a green.
I don't like the family viper because
I
that's
don't
like
like the family
Evangeline's
either.
like mom.
Yeah.
But like I would like that ability, a viper.
Because they like talk to animals.
Well, I think
essentially.
another one would be like what is it called? Elara's house.
Yeah, House Miranda's.
Okay, my thing is I wouldn't use it for bad things. It's just I think it'd be interesting, and I think it's interesting how Elara can go into people's minds without them knowing. I think that would be for me.
What she does with it though is just
What she does with it is awful, and I have a lot more control than she does. I'd probably do that too. Like, I think it'd be interesting seeing what people think.
I don't think I'd want to know what people think.
Would you not be friends with me then if I had that power?
You know
We'll
what?
see.
I don't even know. Okay,
I think it's really interesting.
Okay, what blood would you have? New blood?
I think I
red, or
took
silver?
quiz and I think I got new blood.
Okay, so I'm gonna answer all the questions I just asked here, whatever. So I think my ability would be a burner, not just because I have like emotions, you know, and they can sometimes be like, pew, and then like not, you know, too. And it's so funny, you can like tell moods. So when like I'd be in a bad mood, you would just be able to like.
It's like
tell.
really funny. She's already like this.
I have like
but then when she's crabby, she's like or like mad about something. It's like really funny.
you can tell, but like if I was like a burn, you'd be able to tell from like the heat of my skin or whatever.
Oh, I like in the books, like so when like Maven or Cal is mad, it's like it's described that the room gets like hotter.
Well,
or
it
something.
depends on the kind of anger. Either they go really, really cold, or they go extremely hot.
Yeah, which I just love that. It's
It's
like
so
that'd be so cool.
funny.
That would make its life so much easier. Be like, oh, it's too mad. I think it's so funny.
So basically, I think I'd be a burner just because I don't like the rest of the abilities, and I've always just liked fire.
It's pretty cool.
Like I've always like in Ninjago, my favorite character is Kai, okay? He's, like, the master of fire, and, like, it's amazing. And then in Voltron, my favorite character is Keith, and he's got, like, a fire lion dude. I don't know. I just love
I used to watch
fire is
Ninjago.
so cool.
I just don't remember it.
Anyway, so I think I'd be a burner but I took a quiz and I think I was red, so technically I wouldn't have
You wouldn't be able to do it.
I like to think that I could be a silver with like
that'd be so cool to have silver blood.
Cause like if I do have like that mad resting face, I could totally like go into court and just like
oh my god, you would do
the
so
whole time.
well in court.
So,
that'd be so funny.
And then if I wasn't a silver, I'd be like, sorry, I almost pointed with my hand. So if I wasn't a silver, I guess I would be like a new blood with the fire ability that just like can make sparks.
Did we see that in the book?
Appear.
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, the one kind of downside of the burner, so it's manipulating fire. So Cal and Maven, you know, like burners, they have like a bracelet with like flint to start it.
I think they have two because it was said that Cal would like scrape his wrists together, and so if you have two, and you just scrape the bracelets together.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if there's like no fire around or like anything for that, it kind of like sucks, you know, and you can't really use your ability.
But if they have the bracelets, then they can.
I know, and we're thinking of getting burner bracelets. That'd be fun. No, but it'd be funny if we actually got flint and then like.
Like if we're just.
No, and it'd be funny if we were in school and we were just like. Or if we got matching like ones and then we were like. That'd be so fun. And then we actually started a fire in school. That'd be like so bad. I'd be like, I'd be like just bored in class and like.
Okay.
That's funny. Okay, anything else about Red Queen?
I'd be a burner. She would be a...
Probably Viper, honestly.
Viper.
That is so cool. And then I could, like, have cats actually
I'd probably be a silver.
I love how Evangeline's mom has, like, a panther by her side or, like, some type of animal always by her side, and it's so great. I love it.
Yep.
That's how she kind of, like, intimidates people.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting.
Yep.
Anything else? I think that's really all.
I don't know. I feel like we could just keep talking about Red Queen. Cal is my favorite character.
Okay, I'm going to explain this. It's going to sound weird.
Okay, do you guys want to see a picture? I'm going to show you a picture anyway. I don't care. Where's your picture?
Let me get mine.
You got to get your picture of Maven. So, guys, this is Cal. You guys... Well, I think that's based on his, like, book description. When he's not at his worst. Because there's like a...
Put Cal.
And they're brothers.
They're the brothers.
Half brothers.
Can you like see it? He's like so white. It's like you can barely see it.
So okay, with Cal, that's his book description kind of.
Okay.
When he's at his best. So like, there's parts in the book when his hair is just like not that nice.
There's like bronze eyes.
And he doesn't. Yeah, he's got like fire colored eyes and. Yeah. So.
One more thing. I'm eating again.
Yeah, you are eating.
Talk about Maven's eyes.
Maven's eyes are blue. They're ocean eyes. Go listen to that song by Billie Eilish because it is adorable.
But the one thing that kind of ruins it, it's like Elara's eyes, like the family. That's like the one. He has like pretty eyes, but like he has like his eyes like his mom and like that stuff, so it kind of ruins it.
Oh, and then like when he's in the third book in King's Cage, I think it is, when Cameron is I don't like him in King's Cage anyway. So Cameron's describing Maven from the screen, and she's like describing how his cheekbones are super sharp, his hair sharp, and then his hair is like completely
and did she say?
And then she said, he's not handsome,
but he's beautiful.
He's beautiful. It's like, okay.
Or something. Okay, I'm gonna describe some. I have a love-hate relationship with Maven.
We forgot Killorn. We need to talk about him.
We'll talk about him. He's our favorite. Okay. So I read this thing on Pinterest where it's like Maven is one of my favorite characters. Like sometimes when I say favorite character, it's not because he's a good person. It's because he's just so.
He's a good.
He's a good like character. He's a good villain.
He's got an obsession though.
Yeah, pulling a Maven. Yeah. And so he's like one of my favorites. Another favorite character is Killorn, which is Mare's, who's the main character's
best friend. Best friend. Even when
I love him so much.
Okay, so he went to Mare and was like,
I like you.
I like you. We should, I don't know. I just like you.
I don't know, yeah.
And then Mare was like, well, I don't feel the same way. So he didn't leave her though. He was still Hufflepuff, being the most loyal and best friend ever.
Yes. And then in Warstorm,
it's great.
He almost dies. I thought he was gonna die.
Oh,
I was
my
crying while reading it because like everyone, you could not kill him.
He He couldn't.
It's kind of.
And then Mare had to watch. Mare had to watch her best friend almost die. And then Mare almost died because she was attacked by Maven, and then she ended up killing Maven in the fight to protect herself.
Almost died.
So basically, it was Killorn almost died, and Mare had to watch it, and then Mare had to watch Cal almost die, and then Killorn had to watch Mare almost die. It's like they had to watch each other. They're best friends, Mare and Killorn, best friends, and they have to watch each other almost die. It's just, it's horrific, guys. It's emotional. The whole 4 books is like one big gigantic story with like a humongous, just emotional roller
I just
coaster.
realized something.
What?
You know, in Warstorm, where they take the train? Well, they're walking like the train path, and then Evangeline passes by. I just realized something. Maven, his escape would not work because Mare could totally just shut down the train from moving. Maven, I don't think he accounted for that.
He didn't.
No, he would have been caught. That wouldn't have worked for him.
He would have been caught.
I was just thinking about that.
Wow.
Insight, people.
So basically, if you're reading those books, just be prepared to like.
Cry.
I didn't cry. I almost cried. I didn't like. I could have. Though. I was so close.
I cry a lot over little things, but then you cry. You don't really cry.
I don't.
So if you're a crier, you're gonna be sad about stuff, and there's like so much more emotions than like over Harry Potter, like the span of like 7 books, and like a span of like 1 book. It's just like.
But I like that she has plots within each book, but like. There's only one ginormous plot. Like, I think in most books, there's a plot for, like, the end of the book, and then the other end. But, like, hers are, like, unfinished plots at the end of the book, and I really like that.
Yeah, and then, like, so what happened in the 3rd book is different perspectives. The thing what can happen with different perspectives in books is, like, you might like one more than the other, and then you don't really want to read the other person's perspective.
I loved Cal's perspective.
But the thing is, all of the different perspectives, like, so the first one I think started out that wasn't, so it's always been from Mare's perspective, the 1st and 2nd book. Mare is, like, the overall main perspective and stuff, but then it went to Cameron, who is, like, really...
It was only Mare and Cameron in the 3rd book,
in the 3rd book, I think, yeah. I think so. And, like, Cameron is, like, really...
Evangeline, too. Was she in the 3rd book, too?
Maybe, like, towards the end. But Cameron... So, like, where Mare, you know, was, like, taken, like, by Maven. So Cameron kind of was perspective to show what's happening with the headquarters. And you can see, like, what Cal's doing and stuff.
And Cameron and Killorn. Cute.
Yes. And then, so... And also Evangeline. And then her perspective, I think, is the 3rd one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think...
Her perspective is, like, I hated her.
So
and then she kind of makes you like her more. And then she says really funny things and thinks really funny things. You get to understand that. It still doesn't explain Tallness. He can just... I don't like him.
He needs to just fall off a cliff. He just needs
We
to
just
die.
don't like him.
He killed Shade. Shade was, like... Usually when we read books, we start crushing on characters. We didn't crush on Shade. He's, like, the older brother character that you just...
Love.
He's the best.
Yeah.
So basically, she crushed on Maven. I crushed on Cal.
Yeah,
I don't even know how.
I could tell myself not to. Like, Lindsay, he's awful.
And Cal is just completely dumb and stupid, and I don't know how.
Okay, this is really funny. So Maven's like the really smart one, and then like Cal's like the dumb one. Like, it's so funny. He's just so dumb sometimes. And like we text each other. I'm like, well, we were reading series. Like, Cal's doing something really dumb right now, or like Maven's being super sarcastic.
He's a burner, and he challenged Iris and Nymph in the middle of a bay. Like, water puts out.
When I was texting you during this, and I was like, he's being so dumb right now. He could die right now.
He's extremely stupid.
And also something really cool. What's that? About Victoria, who's the author, there's a lot of diversity. There's like people of all different races and just all of this different like sexualities, which is really interesting. Really yeah. And like that, I've never seen that really in a book. Like, and it's just like so awesome, and it makes me so happy. And I'm like so proud of Victoria for doing that because that's really hard to find, especially in young adult books. Like, it's so hard to find. And
it's like the whole book there, it's like a monarchy being taken down and turned into a democracy.
And this is
amazing.
You know, maybe like 2 or 3 days ago. So she's actually this is really funny. So she's gonna be starting a new series. It's called Realm Breaker, and it's all about destroying monarchies. Like, what? Honestly, there's always been like the downfall of monarchies, kind of, you know, kind of with like our independence also. Cause I'm gonna go on a little Hamilton rant.
Go on a little Hamilton rant. And then we're gonna go back to Red Queen because
So, as many of you guys know, on July 3rd, Disney Plus released Hamilton, which is a musical on Hamilton. And it's, like, hip-hop and it's, like, all this stuff. Lily, I'm going to make her watch it. She will watch it soon.
She tells me that every time we get together.
Yeah, she's going to watch it. And this is my first time because I've heard of it. And then so I'm like, okay, why not watch it? And then I'm addicted to it, and I love music, but I only listen to the Hamilton soundtrack.
Anyway.
And it's amazing, and what's awesome is they have people of color, like, in these roles of, like, these, like, white people. And it's, like, pretty interesting, and the thing they said is, like, a story of America then, or something like that, and then told by America now, which is pretty interesting. Cool. And there's a lot of still issues that are going around that still happened at the founding of our country to now, like, so most of the people except for like one person dies of gun violence in it. There's these correlations and stuff, and it's like so interesting to really watch. You need to keep watching it over and over and listen to the lyrics in this, and it's like you get a lot from it. And yeah.
Okay, let me go on my rant now. So going back to Red Queen, usually in the books you read when there's like a relationship, it's always like a perfect relationship.
Yeah.
Kind of. Well, I mean, it might have, like, subtle issues, but I think we're guilty of writing this in our story, actually. But in Red Queen, Mare and Cal's relationship is very, very, like, imperfect. It's, like, very real. Much. It has real problems. And then by the end, they're technically not even together. And it's, like, I love it so much. I think you like it so much, too. But because it's so, like, it's actually, like, realistic. It's not, like, one of the perfect relationships from all the books and stuff. So it's just... It's amazing.
Yeah, and you really don't get what happens to them.
The relationship.
I know you can get more about them in Broken Throne.
You know they're gonna get married because it's like it's hard to like not.
Yeah, because maybe we kind of searched up and we found a last name that's like.
Yeah.
Like what is it? Barrow.
It was like on Shade because I was looking at Maven.
Yeah.
And then it was said he was related to someone named Shade Kalor, and I was like, okay, plot twist or something else happens because I'm like, how is Shade Kalor? Like, oh my goodness, right? And then you told me that Mare and Cal end up getting married, and then I'm like, okay, that makes sense. What was their daughter's name?
That'd be interesting if Mare and Maven somehow made up. And they got married. That'd be so great. I would want to see how that would work out.
Okay, but what is their daughter's name?
It's like
they name it?
No, it's not Kara. That's Farley in Shades. I don't remember.
Okay, I was thinking about it though, because Mare's a new blood, and she has like the lightning power.
Oh, yeah. What's the blood gonna be? I've thought about that.
And then Cal the Silver, and he's a burner. So do they still get their traits from their dad, or are they like half lightning, half burner?
I don't think so.
Do they get both of them?
Or what is their blood? What is their blood?
What is their blood? Or is like the boy gonna have the dad, or have Cal's power, and then like the girl is gonna have Mare? Or
I think it's gonna be dominant with burners. I think, but I don't. What is the blood? I've been thinking about this. What does the blood look like? And also, I have a theory. I don't know if this is out in Broken Throne of like how the Silvers and stuff, how there might be new bloods. It says it's a mutation, but I was thinking about it. What if there's a secret, like a Silver, like, like had a kid with like a red blood? I was thinking maybe that's how new blood started. And then somehow it just comes down.
Yeah, it would have to.
That's like, I think that's
but with Mare and Cal, their kid's dominant blood would be Silver because Mare's parents are both red blood. Mm-hmm. Well, that doesn't make sense if her new blood mutation... One of their parents would have had to have like a Silver,
or maybe it skips like I don't know. I'm really interested. I hope
science is cool.
I hope Broken Throne maybe like touches on it. I'm not sure if it's going to, but if it does, that'd be great.
It might just be one of those secrets that Victoria isn't going to reveal.
I know, like if I
feel like Julian would figure it out though. We need to like...
Yeah, because Julian has like stuff in there. Like maybe he does. We'll find out.
I think we need to wrap it up now. So we hope you guys enjoyed this. We're probably going to have more of these little coffee talk thingies because, I don't know, they were funny. I hope you guys laughed. And if it didn't make any sense to you, go read Red Queen, Harry Potter, and Divergent, and then come back and watch it. But you'll have all the spoilers, so... I don't know. Anyway, we have some fun stuff planned for our next episode. I know what that is. I told you. You just probably don't remember.
What is it?
I'll tell you later. And then, so for our story update, I think we're about halfway through publishing The Prisoner of Azkaban. The Goblet of Fire is going to be super, super long. But then we also had the idea, so we're going to keep the original Destiny story similar to how Harry Potter is written, so that when the epilogue comes, it's just going to be like us on platform 9 3/4. And then we decided that we're going to write a second book called Destiny, What Happened After, and it's just going to be kind of like
Broken Throne with like little short stories.
It's going to be a bunch of short stories about some fun things. Yes. We won't give that away because it's all secret and
something
stuff,
about like Arthur, Percival.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll see. You'll see.
Go follow us on Instagram at Lumos Podcast and come back and watch our next episodes.
Yes.
Catch up if you need to.
So lead with love, kindness, and compassion.
And in a world full of Umbridge, be a Fred and George.
Adios.